Hello and welcome to the Zonal Weakness brought to you by Ghana Football Fantasy, powered by Fantasy Football Scout. I hope everyone is doing well. Happy Thanksgiving to those who are celebrating or who are actually enjoying the break. So well done. I hope you're having a nice, restful break. But yeah, it's going to be a pretty interesting game week coming up because we are getting into the midweeks now and the busy season is upon us with all the fixtures really piling up. So it's going to be pretty interesting. What we're going to do is we're going to cover the game week 13 as well as game week 14 because the midweek is coming. But let's focus on the game week 13, which is turning out to be a pretty interesting game week, given the fact that there are a couple of fixtures that are difficult and a lot of managers are now in a dilemma whether to play the free hit or whether to play the chips, the triple captain. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to get straight away start with the whole thing. So here it is, and let's get started. And of course, today I'm doing it all by myself, and Bethany has been doing it with me for the last couple of weeks, but now she's away. And yeah, so you'll have to see me and yeah, get used to what I have to say. And I hope I do justice to you as well, and also do justice to the zonal weakness. Anyway, this is the zonal weakness for game week 13. If you haven't followed or liked or subscribed to our channels, please do so now because we are producing regular content, not just the zonal. There is also a lot of content that's going on from our side. There are folks who are working really hard at producing regular content. So thank you to those. And of course, your support by following, liking, and of course, subscribing would be very useful. All the stats that you see are taken from Fantasy Football Scout. Now, that's interesting because it's Black Friday and there is an offer which is ongoing, which is 45% off. So please, if you want to dominate for FPL for the rest of the season, there's a lot of game weeks coming up, including the midweek. So yeah, FF Scout is ready with all the data set and all the analytics that you need over the next game weeks, at least in this crowded season or at least during the mid seasons. Make sure that you take advantage of this Black Friday offer, which is coming up, which is there already, 45% off. So yeah, please do so. And yeah, I think you wouldn't regret it because it is an interesting tool to have and it really supports you in terms of, taking decision that is evidence based. Yeah. So let's move on. And I think, as I said, Manchester United and of course Crystal Palace are facing each other, whereas Chelsea and Arsenal are facing each other. So that's one of the reasons as to why we have a lot of managers who are considering the free hit. And given that that is the situation, what we are really trying to bring it to you, as you can see on the screen right now, is that we have some of the fixtures that we think you could target if you are interested in playing the free hit. So let's start with first with Burnley versus Brentford. And as you can see from the right flank, it's Shada and of course Yarmouk, who looks good to be a good opportunity to actually score or provide some sort of an assist because here Burnley have actually considered 21 chances and are ranked fourth. So that would be very interesting given the fact that, this is a zone where they look quite leaky. But even more is the left flank where Burnley seems to be more vulnerable, to be honest, because here down the left flank they have considered 26 chances and of course are ranked second, and Dango and Kyoda is going to occupy. Not much to be really looked into through the center for Thiago and Damsgaard, but again from the right flank in terms of crosses and of course from the left flank in terms of the crosses, 79 crosses considered ranked second and 68 crosses considered ranked fifth. So that would be a good opportunity. Moving on to the next fixture, which is, of course, West Ham versus Liverpool. Now, Liverpool doesn't look to be in the brightest of form or the greatest of form, of course, but again, it's Liverpool and West Ham being leaky. Gakpo seems to be a player who could likely to capitalize. I have him personally in my team. And here down the right flank, of course, West Ham have considered 25 chances and are ranked worst. And Karkes could again provide some sort of an assist. As Salah also looks to be might, or at least the zonal indicates that he might capitalize, given the fact that from the left flank, West Ham have actually considered 29 chances and ranked one. Worst again. Isaac, not so much to be honest, and I'm not really getting into the fact that the crosses, it looks more or less similar to the other flanks. But from the headed considered side, Virgil van Dijk is a good option, and I know a lot of managers have gone for Virgil van Dijk, so VVD could capitalize on this one as well. Moving on to the next fixture, which is Wolves versus Aston Villa. Now, they are the ones who are picking up a little bit of form recently. And as we can see right now, Wolves have been leaky. And Watkins, I know he's not in the best of forms yet. But again, the fact that Wolves have actually considered 27 chances down the center and are ranked worst, this is where Telemans and Watkins would occupy space. And of course, they are likely to capitalize on that. Buendia and Dini, on the other hand, slightly not marked green because they're ranked sixth, just outside our perimeter that we kind of identified in order to mark the players. But however, it's not really looking that bad either. 19 chances considered on the right flank for Wolves. And of course, this is where Buendia and of course Dini could do well. On the left flank, however, Rogers and Cash, where they are going to occupy that space, and doesn't look so much appealing, to be honest. So yeah, I would rather focus on the through the center or through the right flank for from Aston Villa assets if you have them. Now, moving on to the next fixture, which is Nottingham Forest versus Brighton, and here Rutter and Welbeck looks to be in a prime position to score and capitalize on the weaknesses of Nottingham Forest, given the fact that 27 chances have been considered down the center and they are ranked worst. Whereas on the left flank as well, Minte could do well again this week, given the fact that 23 chances have been conceded down that particular flank and are ranked third. So yeah, I would rather look into Minte and Welbeck as an option for my free hit team, if I am to choose one. And then moving on to the next fixture, of course, it's Everton versus Newcastle. And here, I mean, Walter Moder has not been doing well over the last couple of weeks, but what we can see from here is that, Everton actually considered 23 chances down the center, ranked fifth. So maybe this could be a game week where Walter could find some form again. And then Murphy and Bruno G could do well as well, because left flank again, Everton looks a little bit leaky given the fact that 23 chances have been conceded and they're ranked third in that position. So again, had it considered again, this is another area of opportunity for Walter Moder to actually put his name on the score sheet. Now, he's not been among the goals for recently, but I mean, this fixture could provide. But again, Everton are not that leaky when it comes to the defensive. They have done quite well under Moyes so far. Sunderland versus Bournemouth, and this fixture looks to be interesting. And I will start first with, of course, Evanilson down the center, where they have conceded 24 chances and are ranked third. But again, Sunderland have also conceded, seems to be quite leaky again down the right flank. They have considered 23 chances and are ranked third, where Tavernier fine. Now, Tavernier has been doing quite well over the last couple of weeks, in the absence of Semenyo, of course. But Semenyo is, I think, probably back, and we don't know, and we are not really focusing much on the the injuries here. But yeah, do look on the press conference for that in order to see if he's fit or not. But his flank really doesn't seem to be very appealing. And I would focus more on Tavernier and Evanilson. But if I have Semenyo in my team, I would definitely play him this fixture as well against Sunderland. Now, one of the toughest fixture that is making the managers actually play the free hit is Manchester United versus Crystal Palace. And as you can see, Manchester United have actually considered 19 chances down the right flank, where Pino, of course, he was in the score sheet last week. He could play and slightly outside our parameter again, so he's likely to do well. Mateta been a bit quiet. I wouldn't say he's off form, but he's been a bit quiet recently. So, but down the center again, Manchester United looks a little bit more stronger with 18 chances and of course ranked ninth. But down the left flank is where it looks a little bit interesting. So those of you who have Sarr and Munoz, I know a lot of managers do, and this is why they are planning to play the free hit. This could get interesting because this is where Manchester United have actually considered 18 chances and are ranked seventh. Had it considered wise, again, from the set pieces, Manchester United look vulnerable. And I think this could be an opportunity for Mateta to capitalize because they have considered 20 chances, headed chances, and of course ranked third. And yeah, crosses again, particularly from the left flank, looks a little bit leaky, extremely leaky for Manchester United, given the fact that they're the worst and have considered 78 crosses from the left flank itself. So this is where Crystal Palace could really do well. Now, the fixture that's really a lot of those who are considering to play the triple captain. are looking forward to. This is Leeds versus Manchester City, and of course, Haaland here is not marked down the center, but again, Haaland has been scoring goals, and against home, he's done well. And this is a match against Leeds at home, so I wouldn't really expect Leeds to put up a strong fight, or at least not solid enough to where Haaland would find it extremely difficult to score. I think this could be a match. Although the data suggests otherwise, I would really, if I was to play the triple captain right now, I would definitely find this as a tempting option, given that, yeah. But again, Cherki and Savinho could also do well, given the fact that they have considered Leeds have considered 18 chances down the left flank, and of course, on a ranked second. So yeah, that would be the first slide that I would like to cover. Now, moving on to the next slide, what I do see is here, and I'm not going to really focus on like Bethany does, touching up on all the team. I think the slides are there, and you can make your own assessment. What I would rather focus on are the green areas. Now, Fulham versus Tottenham, where I can see Kudu seems to be the one option, and of course Johnson and Odegaard also seems to be slightly an option here. If you see Fulham is slightly leaky down the left flank, given the fact that they have conceded 19 chances and are ranked sixth, again, slightly just outside our parameter. But again, down the left flank, again, they have considered a lot of crosses, Fulham. So 70 and of course ranked third. So this is where Kudus and Poro could do well. For Tottenham, on the other hand, the right flank seems to be the ideal space where Tottenham could capitalize, given the fact that, Fulham have actually considered 21 chances down the right flank and are ranked fourth. So that would be an interesting point here. Left flank also looks a little bit shaky for Tottenham, to be honest, because they've considered 18 chances and are ranked seventh, where Harry Wilson, of course, Tete is going to occupy. But also in terms of the headed considered, again, Tottenham doesn't really give a lot of confidence, conceding 14 chances, of course, and are ranked second. But in terms of crosses from the right flank, again, this is again another area that seems to be quite outstanding for Tottenham. So Fulham could use this, particularly the right flank, as an area to target Tottenham, of course, during the match. Moving on, it's Liverpool versus, of course, West Ham. And as you can see, Liverpool's vulnerability seems to be down the right flank, where Somerville and, of course, Diouf. Now, we have the habit of keeping Diouf mostly on the bench, and he ends up getting an assist every time. But again, against Liverpool, this seems to be again an area where he could again capitalize, with Liverpool conceding 25 chances and are ranked worst. And this is quite concerning for Liverpool particularly. And then from the center, headed considered is another area that Liverpool looks to be a little bit vulnerable, with 16 chances, headed chances considered, and are ranked fifth, where Callum Wilson, sorry, could be actually do well again. He's done well last match, and I think he could do well again this match. Now, moving on to the Bournemouth fixtures, and of course, what I would see is for Sunderland, I think Traore and Xhaka could do well, particularly from the left flank, given the fact that Bournemouth looks to be a little bit shaky, with 20 chances considered on a ranked fifth. But center as well, Isidore and Maenda could again do well, just ranked seventh and considered 19 chances in that area. So not really a great place, but again, yeah, it doesn't look really that bad. So I wouldn't be really surprised if I do see Isidore or Maenda among the score sheet against Bournemouth in this match. Yeah. Now, those of you who are planning to play the free hit, here is our team of the week, and this could be your point of reference. Now, not all the players might be fit, because we are not doing this after the press conferences. So please do look out for the press conferences in order to get confirmation. But what we can definitely suggest is focus on the zone, which we are trying to highlight through the thing. So yeah, that would be more important. So yeah, here is the team of the week, and you can, of course, use this as sort of like a team of the week for us in terms of the free hit team. And you can see Thiago and Welbeck has made it into the striking position, and I think from the center, it's rightfully so. From the midfield area, of course, Gakpo looks to be one. Buendia, as I have already highlighted, Dango, Minte, and Salah. Now all these players are actually occupying space that where the opponent seems to be, I think, in top three. So that's an area that you could likely focus. Now these are the players that you could target. Digne and Truffet and of course Coyote are the ones that you could again focus on in terms of the defense if you're picking. But if not, I would suggest the players who would be occupying these particular positions as a replacement. It could be somebody else instead of Gakpo playing, or it could be somebody else instead of Digne. So we don't know whether Digne is going to start or whether Gakpo is going to start. What we're suggesting is if you can focus on that particular zone where Gakpo and Digne tends to be playing, I think that's what you need to focus on. So the focus should be more on the zone rather than the player itself. And of course, if you can nail the player, that would be great. And of course, in terms of the goalkeeper, it's Donnarumma that we're looking forward to. So yeah, I think that's it for this. And for the goal considered, let's move on to this one. What we see, the first fixture is, of course, the top five in terms of the worst goal considered. You can see clearly Wolves is on top. And having considered the most number of goals down the center with 70% goals considered, and mostly these are goals coming away at home. So that's the interesting part. Most of the goals have been considered at home. There seems to be more stronger opponent away. Wolves. West Ham also again looks quite leaky, and again conceding 25 goals so far. Again, at home, they tend to be more vulnerable or maybe more playing a little bit more open, but away they have done a little bit more, conceding more chances down the right, center again. Um, Burnley shown good form in the beginning, but then slowly showcasing their weaknesses. I think away form has been a bit concerning given the fact that they have conceded 18 goals so far away from home, and I think that's an area that needs to be the focus for a lot of players. Leeds again, away seems to be the major concern, and this is where Haaland's captaincy really tends to be a very interesting option, given the fact that Leeds away have conceded 15 goals, whereas at home they have conceded 7 goals. So they are much more defensively cohesive at home than at away. They're going to play away to Manchester City this time. So I think this, although the zonal data didn't look that great, to be honest, I think Leeds could really, I mean, Haaland could capitalize on the weaknesses of Leeds at home this time. Nottingham Forest, surprising given the fact that they were one of the best defensive teams last year. But I think that slowly that rhythm is coming back. And again, home seems to be a little bit of a concern, conceding 11 goals away, 11 goals at home, and then 9 goals away. So yeah, that is a bit of a concern, but I think this will slightly improve, and I think Nottingham Forest likely to move down the order sooner or later. Let's focus on the best defensive teams right now. And as you can see, Aston Villa has made it to the 16th place. So basically, they're top five defensive team right now. They have found a little bit of form. Have considered only 11 goals, with away goals being the most, just slightly more than home goals, 5 and 6. Not much of a difference, to be honest. But yeah, Sunderland. Yeah, they were really on top at the beginning of the season, but I think slowly they're slightly getting a little bit leakier. But again, haven't considered too many goals, just 11. Again, similar numbers to what Aston Villa is showing, 5 and 6 away and home. And yeah, I think they could still do well. Manchester City has again remained in that position, considering only 10 goals, and away seems to be a bit of a concern than home. Crystal Palace, and I think this is where Manchester United might find it extremely difficult, given the fact that their form has been, Crystal Palace defensively have been solid, and of course just considered 9 goals over this 13 fixtures or 12 fixtures, and yeah, 5 at home and 4 away. And of course, Arsenal being Arsenal and have shown really solid defensive, looks like a solid defensive unit despite Gabriel not there. They looked pretty solid and just considered 6 goals so far. Away seems to be a bit of a concern. And at the Emirates, they seem to be much more of a stronger side. So yeah, I think that's that for today, and this is all we have for the Game Week 13. So we'll be back again, and of course we'll be sharing the Game Week 14 as well very soon. So stay tuned, and of course do give us all the support that you have. Thank you. Bye bye.